Welcome to News Around Town. The focus of this program is to provide you with information about projects and initiatives taking place in the city of Fort Wayne that are designed to benefit you. I'm your host, John Perlich. I oversee communications for Mayor Sharon Tucker's office. On this episode, we're going to start with a special video feature on recycling here in the city of Fort Wayne. We're working to increase participation and also reduce contamination. And here's a video feature for you to enjoy.
Well, good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. We're very excited. Since GFL took over the waste and recycle collection contract, we've been extremely pleased with their services. And based on the reduction in calls that we've received, I believe it's safe to say that the residents of Fort Wayne are pleased with the services that we're receiving from GFL as well. Now that GFL has done an outstanding job with our garbage collection, we want to make our focus switch just a little bit to our recycling program by partnering with GFL to make our recycling even better than what the services we're receiving today. So today I am pleased to announce that we will be starting a new recycling campaign. It's called Keep Our Recycling Machine Running Clean. And we will educate you in a little bit on what that is and what will happen, but we'll partner with GFL to make sure that our recycling program is just as strong as our trash collection program. Recycling is important because it makes our planet healthier, and for our current and future generations, we know that a healthy community just keeps us strong. Some of the things that recycling does. Waste reduction preserves landfill space. Recycling conserves natural resources like water, minerals, and timber. Recycling reduces the amount of pollution that's caused by waste rotting in the landfills. Recycling reduces the amount of energy used to manufacture goods. In fact, manufacturing an aluminum can from recycled material only uses 5% of the amount of energy that it would take to do a brand new can. Recycling diverts waste away from landfills, reducing the harmful effects of pollution and emissions. And recycling and reuse benefits the economy through job creation and supports by the generations of creating tax revenue. So here to explain a little bit more on our program and how we plan to roll it out is the solid waste manager, Matt Gratz. He'll share the ideas that we have, our stats, our goals going forward, and how this program will benefit our community. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. We are excited about our new partnership with GFL Environmental with our new recycling program. The strong commitment GFL has to recycling is going to help our community improve our programs and help rejuvenate our program and get more people recycling. Through their state-of-the-art processing facility in Pontiac, Michigan, that's going to play a major role in improving our programs. Recycling has been an important part of Fort Wayne since the mid-90s. Back in the 90s, we started a curbside collection. If some of you might remember, it was 18-gallon bins at the curb. And then as technology improved, in 2011, we went to single-stream recycling, where everyone could put their recycling in a lidded cart. With that, we saw participation skyrocket from around 30% to around 75 to 80%. We have currently over 67,000 households participating in our recycling program. And since the start of single stream, we've processed over 172,000 tons of recycling. We've also received over $6.8 million in revenue from the sale of commodities. However, we can do better. We can get more people recycling here in Fort Wayne. We'd like to see everyone in Fort Wayne recycle. Here in Fort Wayne, all residents pay for recycling whether they use it or not. That's why it's important that residents, if you don't have a yellow lidded recycle cart, call 311 and we'll get one delivered to you. If you have a yellow lidded recycle cart but you've chosen not to recycle and use it, we want you to start using it again so we can recycle as much material as possible and receive as much revenue as possible from the sale of those commodities. Not only do we want residents to recycle, but we also want residents to recycle properly. In some areas, we're seeing about 40% contamination on some recycle routes. The issue with contamination, it slows down productivity at the recycle facility. It can damage the equipment, and it also can downgrade our marketable materials. So it's very important that residents only put in the recycle cart what's accepted in the program. And through our partnership with GFL, they have hired an education coordinator to help educate the public. We're going to be going out to schools. We're going to be going to neighborhood partnerships, and basically just get out there in the public and try to teach people how to recycle properly. We're kicking off some TV and radio programs and some spots to promote our new initiative, Keep the Recycling Machine Clean campaign, and that will air over the next couple months. Now I would like to introduce Brent Shows with GFL Environmental.
So thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for having us today. We, the team at GFL here, are very happy to continue to expand upon the existing relationship we have with the City of Fort Wayne. And we're also very excited to have been selected as the processor of the residential curbside single stream material. As we know, GFL has been the provider of curbside collection service, and now we are transferring that material, as Matt mentioned, to our GFL Pontiac MRF in Pontiac, Michigan. The GFL Pontiac MRF is a 125,000 square foot facility, which an interesting fact on it is it actually used to be the production plant for the Pontiac Fiero, and we have retrofitted that facility to be a state-of-the-art material recovery facility. The plant consists of a 32,000 square foot tipping floor and a 45,000 square foot bale storage area, which ensures that all material is kept under roof at all times. The system is capable of processing up to 35 tons per hour of recyclable material. And within the system itself, just a highlight of the few components, we have a trommel that basically breaks the material down by size, and then it continues on downstream for further refinement. We then have a cardboard separation screen that removes the large pieces of cardboard that are delivered. And then from there, it goes through a series of 7 optical sorters and ballistic separators to further refine the fiber material, as well as separate the plastics by grade. After that, there's a glass cleanup system that basically removes the contaminants from the glass so we can market that to an end market. And then we have a series of magnets that do our metal separation. The GFL Pontiac MRF was designed by GFL and Machinex. And when we design a facility, we design facilities with certain things in mind, but a few of the things we always keep in mind are efficiencies, recovery rates, and making good quality bale for our end markets. So one of the important things of maximizing efficiencies is that we keep from artificially inflating processing rates, hence being able to go into a market and potentially save a customer some money. It also ensures that we have capacity for market development and that we can go after contracts such as this one. Maximizing recovery rates essentially means that less material to the landfill. The more material we can recover, the less material we're sending out. And one of the ways that we maximize recovery rates at the Pontiac MRF is through a last chance optical sorter that sees all the material that kind of misses everything the first time. Anything that is capturable, then it injects it back into the system for a second round. And then making that that at the end of the system, making a high quality bale is very important because it ensures we have multiple end markets to market the material to, multiple buyers of that material, and then in times of market disruption, it ensures that we have movement of our outbound material at all times. And so, again, thank you for having us, and we look forward to a long mutually beneficial relationship with the City of Fort Wayne.
Okay, at this time I'd like to invite everyone to take a look at some videos that we're going to be putting out into the public to deal with our contamination.
I wish we could recycle this.
Dad! There might be some wish recycling going on here.
That's the recycling wish fairy. She appears anytime people wish they could recycle stuff that they just can't.
Okay, and some things are not recycling. Plastic bags.
We know.
Plastic that
Oh
goes
my gosh,
around bottles.
that's not even ours.
This is embarrassing. You know better.
I don't know how that got there.
Somebody tampering with your trash, because that's illegal.
I don't know, I guess so, yeah, because I do the good recycling.
You remember my ditty? Let me sing. Cans, clean, cardboard, food containers, bottles, paper, glass, and plastic jugs.
Whoa.
What a solid song that is.
Really great. It's very catchy.
You remember the whoa?
I love the whoa-whoa part. It's the most important.
The most important part is the rest of the song.
Beg to differ.
Okay, well, don't forget, when in doubt,
Throw it out. You can visit someone else now.
Help us keep the recycling machine running clean. Dispose of this somehow.
You're the fairy.
I know, but I have a lunch date.
Pretty nice home renovation, huh?
You can't recycle drywall.
And boards or nails.
That's what they call wish recycling. This is the recycling wish fairy. Not cans of paint.
Don't you have people that can sort through that stuff?
Yeah, but would you want to stick your hand in that? The bad will contaminate the good, and then none of it makes it to the recycling plant. Oh, I wrote a song.
Cans, clean, cardboard, food containers, bottles, paper, glass, and plastic jugs. Whoa.
Help us keep the recycling machine running clean. When in doubt, throw it out.
Oh, hey, you can put those right there in the trunk. You know, I wish these clothes still fit, but...
Yes, but you can't recycle clothes.
She's back.
Yeah, the recycling wish fairy. Yeah, no, the clothes.
Yeah, clothes, carpets, sheets, drapes, all of it binds up the machine.
Trust us, we know the song. Cans, clean, cardboard, food containers, bottles, paper, glass.
No. We're donating it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Do you want to get out of there?
No, it's okay, I got it. Help us keep the recycling machine running clean.
I wish we could recycle this, but...
Dad!
There might be some wish recycling going on here.
That's the recycling wish fairy. She appears anytime people wish they could recycle stuff that they just can't.
Plastic bags.
We know.
Plastic that
Oh
goes
my gosh,
around bottles.
that's not even ours.
You remember my ditty? Cans, clean, cardboard, food containers, bottles, paper, glass, and plastic jugs.
Whoa. You can visit someone else now.
Help us keep the recycling machine running clean. When in doubt, throw it out.
And these were produced by Punch Videos. And I have Derek Devine here today to answer any questions you might have about the videos. So, Derek, if you have any questions, feel free to talk to Derek after the news conference. Lastly, we have a video that you can take a look at, and I'll let Brent go over this. It basically shows how the material is recycled at their facility.
Thank you, Matt. So again, we'll do a couple pauses here, so you can pause there, or just fine. So what you just saw was the tipping floor. Again, earlier I alluded to a 32,000 square foot tipping floor. That's the tipping floor there where all the material enters the site from the beginning. It's where the trucks dump out. Here you see a transfer trailer, which is how the material is carried from Fort Wayne to Pontiac. And there it unloads. You see the wheel loader there kind of coming, grabbing the material from the back of the transfer trailer. And just on the other side of him is our initial in-feed belt where the material initially enters the system. From that point, we'll then go through the process, we'll start the processing from that point. So we can continue on, please, John. Right after this, you'll see an incline conveyor. Like I said, he's pushing the material on now. Kind of see it being bulked and stacked up. And we stack it up through the day. Goes up this incline here. You can pause it there. So that right there is the trommel I mentioned. So again, that's basically a large sizing separator. So what we want to do is when the material comes in, we want to break it down into sizes. Small, medium, large. And then the stuff that carries over is the large stuff. We sort it by the size of it. And then the small stuff is generally your smaller pieces of fiber, your bottles and cans and stuff like that. And the smaller stuff from the beginning is your fines and glass and grit and things of that nature. So you can pause it there. So essentially what I was alluding to is how when the material continues on downstream, that's it as it's broken into sizes, right? These conveyors carry it off in all different directions, but it's all going to the equipment that's designed to sort those commodities specifically. Here is what we would consider our pre-sort. It's after the trommel. The trommel separates it The people that we employ there on the pre-sort remove bags that are full of stuff, any contaminants they see, anything that needs to be removed that might wrap up in the system or damage the system, they're trying to get it out at that point. You can stop it there. So here is after the material has gone over our cardboard separation screen, and these employees here that are closest to us on the screen, they're removing contaminants from the cardboard. From there, it'll go into a bunker, and that's the material we'll bale and market to our mills that are buying the cardboard. On the other side of them, after the material goes downstream from the cardboard separator, and it goes through a couple optical sorters, and we're refining the mixed paper and things like that. Those lines behind him are our people who are essentially doing our quality control. All of those lines are quality control of paper, again, ensuring that we create a good commodity, baled commodity for our end markets. And you can stop. So that's the clean OCC that's coming off. That's after it's been quality controlled, and that's what we're actually putting in our bales. Same here with aluminum that's coming down. That's all of our aluminum. That's our PET. Same thing, quality control. You can stop it there. So what you do there is an optical sorter. It kind of looks like things are going everywhere, but trust me, they're not. They end up where they're supposed to go. Through this video, it looks like it's kind of a mess, but essentially there's a camera that sees the commodity and notices basically the reflection, or can pick up on the qualities of what makes that commodity. And it tells the computer inside where it's at on the belt. And there's an ejection bar in there that has all these little nozzles. And as it comes across that injection bar, it knows to fire it. And it shoots it up, or it shoots it down, or it doesn't shoot on it at all, and it goes in the middle. So it creates 3 different fractions of commodities at that point going through there. And again, there's 7 of these. Some of them don't all shoot up and down. Some of them just shoot up because they're single eject and dual eject opticals. But again, we have 7 of these deployed, one of them being the last chance to help maximize our recovery rates. And here, coming out of our baler, we have 2 double ram balers at the site that bale all of our commodities. This right here that you're looking at is an HDP color bale. And the difference between your HDP color and natural is going to be, your natural is going to be anything that's opaque, that's a milk jug. Anything that is white or has a color in it, which is going to be your detergent bottles, things of that nature, that's going to be your HDPE color. But that's bales of HDPE color there. And again, more cardboard bales. That's a very good quality bale that it's generally what we produce all day, every day. Here you see our forklift guy. So on the back side of him is where our bale storage is. So they grab them, take them off into bale storage. That's where that forklift is coming from. And then this shows us loading the trucks headed outbound for our end markets. Any questions?
So is this provided to the media or not?
Yes.
And just so everyone knows, our plan is to have a voiceover on a video like this, so then we can have that possibly on our website so residents can see how the material is processed. Because a lot of residents, they don't know what happens to it once it goes in that cart. It's magic. They don't know. So what we'd like to do is do a voiceover so residents can start seeing that as well, and so they can understand the whole process of the recycling. And by seeing it, they can see what happens when we do have some contamination in there, how it can get caught up in all the equipment.
On this next segment of News Around Town, I'm pleased to be joined by Chris Blauvelt. Chris is the Deputy Director of the Neighborhood Code Compliance Department here in the city of Fort Wayne. It's close to being springtime, and we're looking at our yards and the exterior of our homes. We want to talk about some of the important work that Neighborhood Code Compliance does so that we can work together to have clean and safe neighborhoods. Chris, welcome to News Around Town.
Thank you.
Let's start off by having you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your professional experiences and the work you oversee with Neighborhood Code Compliance.
Okay. Christopher Blauvelt, Deputy Director, Neighborhood Code Compliance. I've been with the department for 14 years. Prior to coming to Neighborhood Code, I spent 25 years in the construction industry, both residential and commercial. Since I joined the department 14 years ago, I started as an inspector, moved up to supervisor, then to administrator, and now deputy director.
Chris, tell us about how those experiences in the private sector help prepare you for the public sector and being a leader here in our community.
Right. So the things we do with Neighborhood Code, we enforce 5 city ordinance chapters. 2 of them are heavily construction and housing maintenance. So with the previous construction experience, I know a lot about houses. I know a lot about buildings. So that is something that we have as a prerequisite for all of our inspectors, and we are certified through the International Code Council. So that's how I got into it. Then as I kept progressing up through the ranks, I got to learn more about the legal aspects, policies, procedures, and I am sitting here now where I am today.
Chris, one of the challenges that we're experiencing right now, we have some areas of the community, actually citywide, where we're seeing vehicles that are parked on grass surfaces, maybe in the front yard of residences. Tell us about the proactive campaign that we're working to do to make sure that the public knows what the rules are here in the city and that we can work together in a collaborative manner for the overall betterment of the city of Fort Wayne.
Right. One of the 5 ordinances that we enforce, or that's under our purview, is Chapter 72.23, that is parking on unapproved surfaces. Every private property owner has to park their vehicles on an approved surface. We use the catchphrase parking in grass because that's most easily related to yards. But an approved surface examples would be concrete, asphalt, gravel, but it is illegal to park in your yard on the grass, on mud, on even mulch beds. So with this ordinance, we are able to, we have the ability to, 1, educate people, but if you are still in violation and we have the habitual violators, we can write a $100 ticket per day.
Chris, I know there are a number of challenges that parking incorrectly can pose to our community. Walk us through some of those challenges and how that impacts Fort Wayne.
Mm-hmm. So the impacts that you have, if you're parking in the yard and you're, especially around springtime when it's wet, you're creating ruts, you're moving the earth around. You could damage tree root systems, which kills trees in your yard, which creates another hazard. If you're parking in the front yard and you're hopping a curb, you can do damage to your vehicle. Plus, you're dragging mud out into the street, over the sidewalks. You can do infrastructure damage. You could damage curbs, sidewalks, underground lines such as gas lines, power lines, water lines. So there's a lot of damage that we can do by practicing parking in the yard. Plus, you know, it makes the neighborhood look a little rough. So we want to take pride in our neighborhoods, and we want to make sure that we're parking on the approved surfaces, keeping everything clean and neat, and be respectful to our neighbors.
So if a resident encounters an issue that they're concerned about, how do they go about reporting that? And then how do you respond? And maybe also explain for us complaint-driven versus what your officers may see on their daily duties.
Right. So we get complaints a number of different ways. We always encourage call 311. When you call 311, it'll put a case in our system where we will schedule an inspection within 72 hours. We also get, online emails. We get in-person complaints. A lot of times we're called out by Fort Wayne PD or the fire department and we notice things. But we also can be proactive and self-initiate these cases. So example would be if we get called out to a specific address and there's a violation that we see, and within 2 or 3 doors we see the same violation, we can self-initiate that case.
Tell us about, you had mentioned earlier the fines that can be involved. Is that something that happens right away, or does someone get a warning? How does that schedule work?
So what we're doing with the media push is we're giving the knowledge out. We consider that somewhat of a warning. If you see one of our officers out and you just ask them a question, then we can educate you there on site. And if you bring it into compliance, it'll just be a courtesy. Now, we do have some habitual offenders that state law states that we can ticket immediately. So if we promote communication, and if you communicate with us, we're more than willing to work with you. but our goal is compliance, and not compliance tomorrow or the next day, compliance from here on out. So if we go to a property multiple times, we will go straight to ticket.
I know you talked about in wet seasons the challenges that parking can handle, but we also had the situation where we had a very hot and dry summer, and that posed some issues for the department as well. Tell us about that.
Yes, actually, I mean, if you're parking in the yard, you have very dry grass. There has been a few reported fires. You park a hot engine on top of dry grass, it ignites the grass underneath, and then it's underneath your vehicle. So there again, we don't want to do this. You don't want to have to buy a new vehicle. You don't want to have to maintain your vehicle because of the damage it's doing, but we also don't want to set the yard on fire.
Exactly. Another thing that I wanted to ask you about, Chris, the overall department. So we're doing this focus right now on making sure that we have safe parking practices, but there's so much more that neighborhood code compliance does to make our community a great community. Tell us about those efforts.
So parking on the yard is one of 23 different record IDs that we do. Many people have seen the news where they see a big condemned poster or placard. That's us. We assist the fire department, the police department. We work in collaboration with most other city, county, and departments, animal care and control, zoning, right-of-way. But we maintain chapters 150 and 152, which is property maintenance. The abandoned vehicle law, 90.02, which is junk, wrecked, dismantled vehicles. Chapter 100 is our most popular program. That's our weed program or tall grass program in the summer. And obviously the 72.23. We do have administrative hearings every week. We average 35 to 50 every week. We do end up going to court. We've had a number of court cases over in Allen Superior Court. So everything we do has legal ramifications, and we want to keep the city beautiful.
I know, Chris, that your department is involved in many challenging and complex situations, but at the same time, I think it's important for us to remind the community that we want to work together with the city. We want to be collaborative with all of our residents and neighborhoods to make Fort Wayne the best city that it can be.
Yes, sir.
And tell us about that importance of when you communicate with residents and with neighborhoods, with city council. I know you make that an important point in your leadership role to make sure that we all are trying to communicate as much as possible.
Yes, we try to attend as many neighborhood association meetings, quadrant meetings. I meet with council as much as I can. Communication is key. All right, so if a citizen is to get, or a property owner is to get a violation from us or a letter from us, call us. Let's talk about it. We have a number of things in place, procedures in place, that if you're willing to work towards a common goal of compliance, we can give you time. We can work with you. And that is our goal. We would rather work with you instead of, unfortunately, imposing fines sometimes.
Chris, got about 30 seconds left in the program. One final opportunity for you to mention the importance of the work that you're doing right now as it relates to vehicles parking in areas where they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I ask everyone, please think about the muddy car you're driving around. You don't want to drive around a muddy car. Think about your neighbors. Think about the neighborhood. Take pride in the neighborhoods. Be respectful to your neighbors. Park on an approved surface.
Chris, I've enjoyed getting to know more about you and the important work that Neighborhood Code Compliance does, and we'll look forward to talking again soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching News Around Town. If you'd like to learn more about Neighborhood Code Compliance and the important work that they're undertaking right now, please visit us online at cityoffortwayne.org. We'll look forward to seeing you again next time.